5 Guardians comes out today. Destiny, I guess it finally came out about 2 weeks ago.
15th.
Is that
Took a year. And
yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm an independent adjudicator.
Didn't sound very independent there.
Within this conversation. Hi, how you doing? We're here to talk about Destiny and Halo 5, which is the better first-person online multiplayer / single-player experience for your home video game console. I'm joined by Eric Tay.
What up?
What's up? Mike Mahardy, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this one. All right, both of you have played both.
Yes.
Tay, you have played the campaign for Halo 5. You've played more Destiny than I've had hot meals my entire life. Mike, you reviewed Taken King and Destiny,
Guardians.
The Halo 5 Guardians for GameSpot.com.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about which one's better. First of all, I want to talk about, I guess, where this all kind of starts, which for me is with campaign, or at least that's the traditional way we've had it. Destiny has a sort of a non-traditional or like online experience. Halo obviously is a more traditional type of campaign. Mike, first of all, I'm going to go with you. Why do you think Halo 5 has a better campaign than Destiny, considering in your review for Halo 5, you didn't think that campaign was all that good?
So I didn't think the story was that great. The campaign itself is well designed and fun to play, and they introduced this new level design. I think my love for Halo just stems from how fun it is to just play. And Destiny feels great, but in my opinion and in my experience, it's just Destiny is just constantly shooting a bunch of different enemies in the head.
Yeah.
And Taken King did a little bit better by introducing these new enemy types that had abilities, but still, the best way to kill them was just to shoot them in the face. Which Halo, you can say the same for that, I'm sure, but
you sure can.
Each different enemy has these more subtle ways that change how you play, and the firefights all kind of unfold differently and feel different to me each time because you have so many different. I mean, Destiny, you have these the supers that you can use, but Halo, especially in Halo 5, you have the ground pound, you have the smash. And
you're rubbing your neck already, man. It's not a good sign.
No.
Eric Tay, you're shaking your head. What do you think about that?
Okay, let's talk about the ground and pound and shoulder charge first of all.
Okay.
Both Titan abilities, one of the classes in Destiny, that came out first, obviously.
Okay.
And in terms of story, yeah, it took us a little while to get to where we were.
Oh,
but us, Destiny,
Whoa.
took
Is
us.
Eric work
us
for
a little-
Activision?
Yeah, I sure do. No, but it took a while to get there. You know, I think they learned a lot. As you said, with Taken King, a lot more just continuity in between missions. There's just more storytelling. Little cinematic trailers or not trailers, but little cinematics in between, just storytelling. Better back and forth with the NPCs. And I think part of it too is that Destiny's evolving, right? And it's the raid is kind of the harder portion of the story. That's where you end up at, right? Because that's where the big bad boss is, and that's where all the kind of bigger mechanics are, right? That are outside of just your shooting things in the head or in the gut. But I mean, it's the same in Halo. Like, there's a knight, you're shooting him in the armpit so that his head opens up. Yeah, I'm shooting a Vex in the stomach. Like, it's kind of the same thing. But I think with Destiny, there's a little bit more to it because you do have your supers as a subclass, and your subclasses for each class. And then on top of that, with the Taken enemies this time around, they have different things that they do. Captains will throw blind balls at you. You have to avoid it. And so I feel like there's more like movement than in Halo, whereas like you're just hiding more in Halo, I guess.
All right. In the interest of making sure everyone has the same amount of time, I'm going to pass it back over to Mike to retort to that. Anything you have to say about that?
Yeah. So in Halo 5, were you really just hiding behind cover and then shooting and pop out and shoot?
Well, yeah, because when you play campaign by yourself with 3 dumb AI, if you die, then chances are you're done for, right?
Is Destiny a fun solo experience?
No.
I think it's okay. At least it scales a little bit better, and like I think you're less frustrated from the fact, like if you die, you know why you died, right? And like it's like Halo, you kind of just feel like someone should revive you.
Well, no, that's if you get down in Halo, that's your fault. It's not your fault when the AI is too dumb to revive you, but it's every time I got down, I was like, oh, it's because I ran into the middle of this room when I
like you're safe. That's your safety net. That's not why you're dying.
Yeah, it's just more of their attempt to keep it going instead of just checkpoint if it's really tough. But Halo, especially in Halo 5, more than any other Halo, you have so many options laid out before you. Like you can run up a path, do a ground pound from below, sprint at the next grunt, Spartan smash him across, turn around, obviously fire off a few shots with your battle rifle, then throw a grenade, which, like, Destiny does have that movement, but I actually played Destiny more of, like, take cover and then shoot at these enemies who would take varying amounts of bullets to kill, which, again, Taken King did improve on that, but I still felt like Halo, these subtle nuances they added to the movement just completely changed how I looked at maps, especially because the map design was, I think there's more focus on creating a good level, whereas Destiny is a lot more open than Halo 5, which they're not going for the same thing, but I think I personally prefer Halo 5 style, which is sort of linear, but these arenas where you can kind of, like, it's like a playground almost, and kind of get on this turret or, get in this Banshee that you just found, or just completely find this new weapon cache you didn't even know existed. Whereas, you're more attached to your characters in Destiny because it's an RPG, and you're gaining new weapons and you're getting new powers with your character up until certain, I don't know, and I really appreciate it.
Let's move away from the campaign stuff and talk about multiplayer. Eric, I'm going to let you have the first swing on this one. Obviously, Halo, more traditional multiplayer experience, different game modes, but isolated from the campaign. What is it about Destiny you think that makes it a better multiplayer experience than Halo 5 Guardian?
I think on top, I think max in Halo is 4, right? 4 people that you can party up with. So in Destiny, you can do 6.
Well, in co-op.
In co-op.
Yeah, if you're playing online, like in one of the other modes, you can have like 12 buddies, right?
Yeah.
Easily.
Okay, well, I don't think so.
You're talking about co-op campaign. You're talking about
I'm talking about
I'm talking
multiplayer,
about
though.
multiplayer.
Can you have more than 4 in your fire team?
In Arena, you can only have 4, but you can have, in a fire team, no, but you'll be like with at least 5 other people.
But in Warzone, you could have 11 of your friends.
You can have 8 other people in addition to your 3 friends, yeah.
No, but in addition to his friends. So what I'm trying to say is that in Destiny, you can party up to 6 people, which is 2 people more than Halo. So you can get more buddies in that that you want to play with. That maybe 4 people is not enough.
2 is more, but it doesn't necessarily mean better.
Sure. That's fine, but then I like to bring in Giancarlo or Josh to my raid because you can do 6 people raids that you can't do in Halo, and I think that's one of the big proponents there. And I think that multiplayer is ever evolving in Destiny, and one of the things that's pretty cool too is there's a commitment from Bungie to keep patching and making things better. So like when PvP gets out of hand, if a gun is out of hand or if guns are out of hand, they will patch that and they will fix it, and they've been doing that more and more and more. And on top of that, because of how Destiny is set in this world, they can do fun events, like the Halloween event. Just happened yesterday. Like, nobody saw it coming, and it's just this cool little thing that everyone gets to try out. Like, you don't even have to have a fire team or anything. You can just do it on your own and experience all these fun little Halloween things with, masks, and doing all these little side fun missions that you can never do in Halo. So.
What do you think of that, Mike? Where's your goddamn Halo 5 Halloween mask at?
Well, they do like special event playlists for multiplayer. But you can't swap out. Well, yeah, you can do different aesthetic appearances now, and in Halo 4 and 5 and 3 and Reach. But yeah, they don't have the certain ones that are actually designed to really pull you back in. Although Halo 5, the DLC models, the free maps that they'll just keep introducing throughout the year. But that's the thing for Halo. I feel like when I play Destiny, I return almost out of obligation. Like, I know you yourself call them chores, just as like certain things like completing bounties, doing Arms Day. In Halo, I return because I want to, because I think it's fun, and it's not something that I feel forced to come back to because I'm gonna miss like the weekend that Xur is selling Galahorn or like power weapons like that. It's Halo. I think the gameplay itself is enough to bring me back, and I think that's a little more what I want out of games. Something that doesn't demand that I come back. It's just something that encourages me. And yeah, I agree with Tay. I think Bungie does a great job of keeping its community involved with these cool like events that just come out of nowhere. But I don't know, Halo. I think just the purity of its gameplay has more longevity for me.
Let's talk about, I guess, the amount of variety that's in each game, because that's at least when I think about multiplayer in Halo, or I think about Halo generally. They're adding Forge obviously in December. There's a lot of different ways to play that game. Do you think that that's the same in Destiny? Do you think Halo has sort of has more content, as it were, or do you think Destiny does, if you were to like take everything into account?
If you were to take everything into account, I think Destiny has more by volume, but I think Halo is from each. Again, going back to like each match itself, I think especially with Warzone introduced now, it's that PvE and PvP. I don't know how much you like Warzone and how much you played it, but it's just more like this emerging gameplay that happens when you're like going for a certain AI boss or going for a certain capture point. It's just there's a lot of options to like chase after, and then Arena you have a bunch of different game modes, and I think there's a lot of variety, and it changes up how the games unfold a lot. Whereas I feel like Destiny a lot of times is like these chores that might get me a slightly better weapon, or just might be like this exotic bounty chain that I'm chasing for a week or two.
It sounds like for Halo, the journey is the reward, whereas in Destiny,
Exactly.
maybe the journey is a means to an end to the reward. Is that fair to say?
A little bit. I think, again, just using the word evolve because that's what I've been doing.
I mean, Evolve is better than both of these games. We can all
No,
agree with that.
definitely not. Let's just not even go there. But here's the kind of cool thing that has happened in the Taken King. There have been these little missions that come up, daily missions that come up that all of a sudden, if you unlock some of these secrets, then you actually kind of go down this path for a special mission that gets you a special weapon. And they've had like 2 of those now, and those are like super awesome. And I think just part of it too is I like the weapons in Destiny more. They're more unique. I think again it is like I've invested the time to get them, so I feel more affinity with them, right? And I still think the like no knock on the sound and the sound of the gunplay in Halo, because I think it's pretty good too, but like there's just something about when I hear a Hawk Moon get shot or a Boolean Gemini, like I can tell like what gun I'm shooting because like it just has a unique sound and it's awesome. But yeah, I mean like there are chores, things that like, but there are things that are built in to try to get you to come back. And like I feel like there's like so many now that I can't even come back to do them all, which is like a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. But that means there's always something to do, right? Like here's something like Court of Orcs. It's part of Destiny's Taken King expansion that was not in the game, where you and potentially 9 strangers or 8 other strangers or 2 other people on your fire team could do if you wanted to get some loot or just have some fun together. So they just have so many activities you can do, and they also have PvP modes that they come every like month or 2 for Iron Banner, or they have like a more serious one in Trials of Osiris where it's the more competitive mode of like here's 3-on-3, almost like WoW arena style. The higher you get, the better items you get. And yeah, you are chasing stuff, but I think that's part of, I guess, maybe the addiction. I'll admit that. That's fine. Like that's part of why you're playing the game, though, right? That's why you're playing that game, though. Yeah. But it's one that keeps growing, and they keep adding more things.
As long as you can pay for it. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I think by and large, it's just Halo and Halo 5 especially. Destiny undoubtedly has more to do. I think I just feel as if Halo's is more worth doing, again, because I don't feel obligated. I don't feel like I'm missing out if I'm not playing. It's just all on my terms, and I'm coming back at my own leisure. And I think I think inherently it's not designed the same way as Destiny. I think Bungie did a great job in encouraging people to stick around and come back, but I think 343 did a better job with Halo 5 to actually just make me love playing it.
And just in terms of, you're right, up to now, like there has been a lot of money spent on Destiny. Again, it's like a value proposition for me. I think it's fine for me because I enjoy it. I spend a lot of time, so the money spent is not that bad. But I will say they have added microtransactions, which is kind of weird, but it doesn't affect the game, so I'm totally fine with it. It's emotes, it's stuff like that, dances, and whatnot that you can buy for silver. And I've heard that they're testing these emotes and these microtransactions because they might use the funds they make from this to give free story DLC and stuff like that going forward. And so maybe this Halloween event that they had that's pretty big is like a test case of let's see, how much they spend. And like if they spend enough money, maybe you won't pay for DLCs anymore and the whales can maybe pay for everyone else.
Yeah. Doesn't it seem weird that a company that, sorry, I'm supposed to be
That's fine.
Have no partisanship in this. But if you're talking about a team that has a 10-year contract with Activision to make a game, who employs plus 200 people, do you really think DLC sales is what's going to make them make new story content for the game?
I mean, it's possible. Again, like that's just what I've seen in stories. Like
that's what they've been putting out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those could just be missions or events, right? Like, it's a nice little.
It's just
touch,
interesting. I think like because both of you enjoy both games and think there's pluses and minuses in both, but it seems like so much of it has got to be down to like the way we play. Whereas like you kind of wanted an experience where you don't feel criticized for not keeping up with it, where you don't feel like you're being manipulated and you can go in, have some fun, and then leave. Whereas you're very much into the idea of having a like a character that's yours, which you couldn't have in Halo, because you couldn't have a character that has the gun that you earned and like the rep that you earned and the various currencies and level that you earned. Because if you were playing Halo, then you basically be hitting reset largely every single time you went to play it. Do you think it's just like a different strokes for different folks kind of situation?
Probably. I mean, like I thought Halo 5 campaign was like pretty good. Like I thought it was okay. I think some of the story and some of the marketing for it wasn't, like it kind of got me there. And I think Warzone's kind of fun if you have enough people, but again, you can have like weird experiences with any PvP FPS where you get rolled and you're just like, well, that sucked, you know what I mean? But in Destiny, you end up being able to play single player if you're not a PvP person. So you like,